Hey guys, one of my clients, one of my feminines, requested that I do a talk about forgiveness. And whenever you guys request something, I sit on it for a little bit and I kind of feel it out. I see the things that start happening around me because everything's pretty synchronistic, and I start having dreams and all kinds of things. And when the right moment comes, I know that that's the time to make it if it's supposed to be made. So I don't just go, oh, good idea, and do it unless I feel like prompted to by spirit. But in this case, I know that I've done talks on forgiveness before in my talks about life, but I knew that this was gonna be a little bit of a different talk. So today I had that wonderful opportunity that was kind of a catalyst for getting on here and doing this talk. So we are going to get into forgiveness, and I will share an experience with you that is rather rare, but it happens sometimes. And it's happened today. Lucky me. Basically, I got a text message from someone who said, I'm looking to get a reading, but your prices are too high. Could you recommend somebody who's cheaper? It's like, so already I was like, dang, this person is making a snap judgment for one, because my prices are not too high. Everything is relative. I'm fairly low actually, because I know another reader who's here in the area who I have heard is not even close to as good as I am, and she charges twice the price, and she's booked up for months. So that's one thing. For number two, I've got awards for what I do. I'm really good. And having awards for all of this and being as good as I am, if I were like one of those, phone psychics, they would be taking somebody like me and they would be, having me charge like $10 to $15 a minute. And I'm only charging $3 a minute, you guys. So it's really, really, I wanted to choose a price point that was something people could afford and something that would be worth it, because I am very, very efficient at what I do. I'm excellent at it. I do my very best. There's a lot about me and my integrity level and everything that, it's actually pretty cheap if you look at the full thing. So I was like, wow, okay. So she's already insulted me and then asked me to give her somebody else's name. And I was like, well, I do give free readings. And that's the other thing. It's like, if you can't afford me, I also offer things for free. I give my time away for free for you guys. And I do live chats and stuff to help you guys out too. So I do a lot for free. I do a lot of free readings. I do a lot of YouTube videos and everything. So I'm doing all that I can to help everybody on every price point. At the Lighthouse Bookstore, I charge $2 a minute for you to walk in and see me in person. So $3 a minute is just, and you get it recorded and sent to you. So it's a really, really, really good deal, you guys, already, without the discounts that I give every once in a while as well. So, all right. So she said that, and you can imagine, I was like, dang, and I said, look at the information underneath my videos on YouTube, and it'll tell you, what to do for those free readings. So then she texts me back, well, does that mean you'll give me a free reading today? And I was like, okay. And I had sent her one of my recent videos. So I gave her the information. I told her the information was underneath the video, and then I sent her a video. So I had already given her several minutes of my very busy day. And then she says back, she wants a little bit of hand holding. Which you guys know, it's like, if you can imagine how many people contact me, it's like, please just do what I recommend. Just go look under the video. Just take a moment, look under the video, and see the information that's there. And she didn't do that. She was like, does that mean that you'll give me a free reading today? And I said, look at the information underneath the video I gave you. It tells you everything you need to know. And then, then she says back, I will if you say please, and if you speak to me in the right tone. And I was like, okay. For one, I don't want to deal with somebody like you. Why? Because you obviously jumped to snap conclusions. You already judged me You've already, like, you're obviously like very much in your ego. And I don't want to deal with somebody who's not willing to take a look at themselves and take personal responsibility. I don't want to waste my time. That kind of person gets a reading and they hammer you with questions. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. Tell me about that. And they don't want to do any work on themselves and they want things right now. And she wants it for free. So it's like, I would rather not align myself with people like that anyway. So I was already like, okay, well, kind of glad that I've turned you off because I'd rather not do a reading for you anyway. Then she says, then what happened then? I was just like, I don't even know if I'm going to even respond because she's demanding that I either apologize or say please, and she'll look. I was like, this woman's got some serious nerve. Like, I cannot even believe she's speaking to me this way. And I was not rude. I was not mean. I just didn't say please. So she was judging me immediately without even like, you guys, so there's two different outlooks on this. You can look at it from my position and look at it from her position. From her position, she was already hurting herself by saying that my prices were high in the first place. She was already had an attitude and she thought she would attack me and send me a text message asking me to give her references to people who were cheaper. So that was already an insult slapped in my face, with just starting out. Then I told her something nice and told her something that she could get a free reading. Then she started, it was just like some people are looking for a fight, you guys, and they're feeling really emotional right now. So you should probably be forewarned that there are these people who are just going to attack you just because they can and because they don't know who you are and because they can get you hooked in to their drama. She's probably pissed off at somebody else in her life, and she's probably really upset about this. She has no control over what's going on. She's probably demanding answers. She's probably really pissed off, and she's taking it out on me. So we go through all these dialogues, right? And then I just said, I waited for a moment. I really let it sit with me for a minute. Like, what do I was like, I'm not even going to say anything. She can figure it out for herself. She can come to her own conclusions and she can judge me if she wants to. And I finally said back, I said, you can find the information that I provided to you helpful or not. You can judge me or not. Either way, it's you. And I said, I was just providing helpful information in a hurry. I wasn't being rude. I wasn't being mean. I was in a hurry. When I'm in a hurry, I say things that are direct. If you judge that, that's your problem, not mine. You guys have to get over being so easy to trigger. And this is like, you can get angry at the person in the drive-thru because they don't say please, because they don't open the door for you. There are so many excuses we can make up to get pissed off at people, you guys, a million of them. And you guys are doing this to your masculines too. It's like, I sent you this text message and you didn't say anything back. Now you're an asshole. You know what I mean? So it's like, for one, from her angle, she needs to, if she wants to evolve as a human being, she needs to learn how to not be so easily triggered by whatever it is. And we are in a very emotional time right now. So I can see where she jumped to that conclusion thinking that my prices were too high, which they're not. But I could see where she would have come up with that. When you put it in the grand scheme of things and what people normally charge, I'm actually very cheap or affordable. But she doesn't, she wants somebody cheaper, then she's going to get less of a quality of service and help, which is fine. Or she can, call my show and get it for free, but she only gets like a couple of questions, a question or two, which is a decent compromise. And it's also not as private. Anyway, we're not arguing price here. We are talking about how easy we are to trigger. And that is someone who is going to have to awaken. So if you are one of those people who think that you should be talked to in a certain way or have certain things done to you, or that you should be, or if you read into the tone of a text message when you don't even actually know the person or you don't know the way they're speaking to you and you're jumping to the worst conclusion, you guys just don't do that. Don't be picky. Don't be picky about how people talk to you. Don't be picky about the way, and I was being picky too. Because I'd rather her just listen to me. And I would rather, what would have been ideal is if she just would have like clicked on the video, looked underneath and been like, oh, this is really great. Thanks so much. That would have been great. It didn't go that direction. But we both had resistance because I was just like, please just look at the information. And then I'm not going to have to keep spending my time doing this, going back and forth, playing ping pong with you. You know, when the information is already there, I've already provided it. Now you're asking me to repeat myself. When you know what I mean? So the other thing, like from my perspective, when something like this happens to you and you get attacked like this, first thing you need to do is admit it. So what happened when I said, whether you judge or not, and whether you choose to see this as helpful information or not is completely up to you. And then I said, all I was doing is giving you information in a hurry. You know, I was not being rude. I was not being mean. According from my perspective, I was just providing something in a hurry. So giving her a little perspective shift there too, if she chose to see it that way. Instead, she said something like, well, I don't know, something really rude, and then she calls me a bitch. I was like, okay. All I said back after that was unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, it's like, what do you say? And then I blocked her. And then I looked her up and I found out her name. I found out where she lives. And if she ever calls me for a reading or anything, if she ever looks for anything from me, then I'm going to be very careful about dealing with someone like that. And I can refuse business to anybody. So I tried to give her a blessing afterwards. I tried to send her love. And she put a block up. She would not let it through. She is obviously in a very egoic, angry space. So the first thing you do when somebody attacks you like this, and being called a bitch is not ever fun, but you know, I had to agree with her. I was being a bitch. I was wanting things to go effortlessly and easily and smoothly. And this woman was asking for a free reading, and I was giving her lots of my time, you know, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm a generous person spending my Saturday working, and I'm, you know, providing information for this person if she would just listen to it, you know. So I was frustrated on my end. I was speaking to her, I feel I was speaking to her being cordial, but I can also see how she thought that was rude. So the first thing you always do if you're being attacked is agree. See how you were being a bitch. Sometimes we come across as rude. Sometimes we are angry or frustrated also. We're under a lot of stress. All of us are under a lot of stress. And when you're as busy as I am, you know, you don't necessarily want your phone blowing up with nonsense, with stuff that doesn't even, like please hold my hand through this. And I can't hold everybody's hand at the same time, which is sometimes why I put out a mass video that reaches hundreds of people, is I can't individually text everybody back and forth constantly all the time especially about things that just minuscule things. You know, I have some people going on. Sometimes they will record a voice message in WhatsApp for like 10 minutes. 10 minutes about their situation. That's 10 minutes of my time. That's 10 minutes that I'm listening to all that, and I'm not going to remember it. If you and I are in a session, we are on the phone with each other, then, oh, how interesting. Your default speaker has changed. Okay. If I'm in a session with you and we're talking about it live, like right now we're going back and forth about it, that's fantastic. And if you do it frequently, I'll remember your story. It becomes an ongoing story if it's frequent enough. But somebody just leaving me a 10-minute message, I mean, it almost feels like that's not very nice. It's just not very nice. Especially they're rambling sometimes. And they could just really get to the point in just about 2 or 3 minutes and explain the whole situation very briefly. And I know so many of you, like 95% of you, I hate even talking about the other part, because it's like most of you are so respectful of my time. And there are some of you who are chatting with me. I actually very much enjoy the conversations because it's about your growth, things that you're realizing, things that you're going to, the shifts that you're making as a result of hearing something in a video, and we bounce things off of each other. And oftentimes, if you guys are willing to put the work in, like to do Byron Katie's work, I will spend my free time helping you guys and coaching you with that stuff. Because it's that I am so passionate about you freeing yourself from this, from the codependency and from the victimization and all of that stuff that happens when you don't do the work on yourself, you know, like just complaining about everything that's happening, right? So you will get attacked. People will attack you eventually. The more people that follow you, or the more people who know about you, the more attacks you're going to have. Don't be afraid of being out in public, though, and speaking your mind, because what's the purpose of being here? What's the purpose of being here if you can't just be yourself? And one thing you can tell somebody is, if you don't like what I'm saying, you really don't have to be watching me or listening to me or being a part of what I'm a part of at all. And if you keep saying your piece, then you're going to gravitate your tribe to you. Those who follow you will love you. And those who don't, they will eventually go away. And now I would very much ignore anybody like that woman. I probably should have just ignored her from the start, because she was trying to look for a fight, and she found it. I wasn't fighting her, but just the fact that I even engaged gave her something to, oh yeah, now I can call her a bitch, and that felt good for her ego. She's like, yes, So, and that's what the ego does. But when the ego is completely in control of you like that, you guys get really stuck. And you're in a lot of pain and suffering. That girl's probably going to be talking about that forever, or like for a long time, or she's going to go to the next reader and be like, Amy Satori is such a bitch. Okay. If you choose to believe that. Like, most of you know that I'm like the furthest thing from that, but that's okay, because everybody views you differently. Let them judge you, and who gives a crap? Seriously. Stand in your power and who you are. You know the truth of who you are. Don't let somebody else's judgment about you make you feel bad about yourself. And that's the other thing too, that as I was feeling upset about this, because I was for a minute, and about that time, I was like, you know what? There are evil forces out there. There really is a war, good and evil, that really would love to see me upset, So they probably agitated her. They probably she was like scrolling through the psychics in the area or whatever. And they were like, ooh, there's a good one she's compassionate and loving. Why don't we go after her? You know what I mean? So they like these bad forces, or bad, that's a judgment too, but you know what I mean? Like the forces that would like to see good people upset, or to bring their vibration down. They will seek out people like you, who are light workers, to try to dim your light. So you have to be diligent in holding your own energy high, not letting any circumstances around you bring your vibration down. That's your number one, probably your only responsibility, no matter what in your life, whatever's going on in your life, whoever is in it, whatever circumstances have happened. Number one responsibility is to keep a high vibration, you guys, every moment of every day, if at all possible. If you're finding that you're going into a negative space, turn on a funny show on YouTube and just crack up. Get out of that space as quickly as you can. Don't stay in it, and don't become fearful. And before bed, make sure that you watch something funny or neutral or very, very loving and inspiring before you go to bed, so that you can go to bed on the right note and you can actually get some sleep. Don't watch the news. God forbid, don't watch the news. I don't even watch the news at all. I watch David Wilcock or somebody like that who is actually, who knows all the important information behind the scenes and also gives you a positive spin on it, So, all right. So now this feminine who contacted me, who was just like, please talk about forgiveness. She was actually talking about karmics specifically, not being upset with the karmics, because karmics really are quite manipulative. They really try to keep your masculine no matter what. They will trick them, where they will pretend to be pregnant. They will they'll even fake that they're engaged. Or they're like, I mean, you see it all the time in these movies and stuff too. They try every trick in the book. But guess what? You were once a karmic. You've been a karmic too, feminines. So, you know, that's just part of being immature. Being immature is being a karmic. And it's, and you can't blame them. They're wanting security. They're wanting their money. They're wanting the attention, the fame, whatever they feel like they're going to get from your masculine. Can you blame them? Can you blame them? Sure. I mean, you want to. You've judged you because you've become more mature. You've gotten past a lot of that BS. But you were once that way too when you were young, or you were once that way too when you weren't so evolved as you are now, and not as autonomous as you are now, and not with the self-esteem you have now. In retrospect, it's like, but here's what you got to realize is you judging that karmic for where they're at now is you judging yourself back when you were that way. So realize too that the karmics have their place. They are training your masculine to have his own self-worth and to stand up for himself and to communicate clearly and to mature himself and to be inspired by your example even. So don't judge the karmic either. Don't judge the karmic. I don't care if she got him pregnant or if she faked this or tricked him into that or whatever. For one, your masculine didn't have to fall for it. Number two, he probably won't fall for it after a while once he wises up to that, whatever the manipulative thing was that happened or continued to happen for some time because they allowed it. Whatever happened in that situation, see her as your sister. See her as somebody, see her as you in the past. When you were with the wrong person, that's how you acted too. You figured, this is the best that I can get, so I'm going to milk it for what it's worth and get what I can out of it. And you did, and it flopped, and it blew up in your face, and you thought you loved this person so much, and you clung to every little thing you possibly could, and it slipped through your fingers anyway. It's because it wasn't true love. And then you matured and you grew and you learned to how to take personal responsibility, and you learned that money, isn't that important. Peace of mind is important. Having harmony with someone and speaking to them and having you guys respect one another and love each other deeply and have that intimate conversation, having a best friend becomes more important. And then you don't put up with any, like meeting all those other people that you would act that way again with, which is why a lot of you don't go with somebody for a very long time. Is you become pretty picky and you're just like, I just want to be with my true love. I just want to be treated well by someone and have it be mutual and have us like respect and love each other on a deeper level. But, I'm just saying you were once a karmic and you guys weren't like this when you were, 20, 18? Some of you are 20 and 18. I'm just saying that. And with that, I was thinking this too, with that girl that went off on me today. It's like, if she and I had a moment alone, she would apologize. Most likely. I mean, I've had people go off on me before and they end up apologizing because they don't know who I am. They're just jumping to conclusions depending on what's going on in their lives and whatever conclusions they're jumping to. And that's another reason why it's really important not to assume things, to ask lots of questions rather than just automatically attacking somebody. Or, it's an emotional time right now. Keep your cool. Don't jump to conclusions. Learn these lessons. Learn about yourself. See the truth in what people are saying about you when they're attacking you. Be self-reflective. Grow from every experience that happens to you. That's why Byron Katie's work is so exceptional and effective, is it really helps you see yourself and become incredibly self-aware. So, if you guys have any questions for me, write them down in the comments. It's never fun to really go through those lessons, but what happens is eventually if you become more more self-aware and you're wanting to learn and grow from all these experiences, the experiences happen very rarely. They happen very rarely, and you like skate through them very easily. Like I don't get triggered very often, and it doesn't really trigger me very much even when it does happen. Because I can, things pretty much roll off my back pretty easily now, but that's taken a lot of years of really focusing on letting go of my ego. Your ego is what makes you react. Your ego is the one that wants to be right. Your ego is the one who wants to prove somebody else wrong. Your ego is the one who wants to judge that person and say, your neighbor shouldn't be acting that way. This person shouldn't be acting that way. It's all these people's faults because of what they're doing over here. And it's the bad guy's faults that everything is how it is. And it's just like pointing fingers at everybody. We need to stop all that now. We need to see that we are that person. We are what we judge. We are what we judge. So if you can see that, then it doesn't hold you anymore. You know what I mean? Just admit you're a bitch sometimes. Admit you're an asshole sometimes. That's the first thing that's the best thing you can do as quickly as possible to deflate your ego. Your ego will fight as long as it can try to be right. But if you just immediately pop that bubble and you're like, oh, nope, I am that. I own it. All of a sudden your ego's like, oh shit. I've got no fight in me now. I don't want to rally against this person anymore. Because you've just made them right. So be willing to take a good look at yourself and see from the other person's point of view and see that you were kind of a jerk. And then also coming from that perspective, you can change that, but not out of a people-pleasing way and not out of like, I want to be a different kind of person. Or you don't have to change it at all. You can just be like, yeah, I can see where they would think that and just let that be. But when you're having these realizations and these epiphanies from a point of throwing your ego out as quickly as you can by just admitting it, then you can see more clearly. You're not going to be all reactive and you're not going to be all angry and you're not going to lash out against whatever that is. Just don't lash out about anything by just admitting it's true within you, basically. Everything that you're getting upset about and everything going on out there is actually a war that you're raging within yourself. So when you give up that war within you, things start changing around you too. Okay, guys, enough lecturing for today. I hope that's helpful. We can always do a remote reading and talk about it. My very expensive readings, you guys. we can do a remote reading and we could talk about this. If this is an issue for you, or if you really have a tough time forgiving somebody. Oh, here's the thing to remember too, is don't forgive somebody because they deserve it and because you want to let them off the hook. That's not what it's about at all. If that's what you're thinking, then you've got it all wrong, because you're never going to point a finger at somebody and make them realize something. All they're going to do is fight you, right? If I just want to make this person wrong and I want to point a finger, blah, 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 put up the biggest fight in the world and I win, I still don't win, because she's never going to change her way. When you attack somebody, they don't change anything. So letting them off the hook is also not going to do it. Yeah, I mean, basically whatever you do is not going to affect them either way. So all you can do is monitor your own vibe. And if you want to be miserable, then you can resist what is. But if you accept what is as it is, whether it's a past or something that's happening to you right in this moment, if you can accept it, you are taking care of yourself. You're being your own best friend. You're loving yourself. That's how you love yourself. Every moment of every day, everything that happens, you properly take care of yourself. Do you want to feel good or do you want to feel awful? You want to have this rage in your heart and want to attack somebody and make yourself right? That doesn't sound very much fun. And like I said, you're never going to win anything. Making a point doesn't do anything. Making some kind of point, it doesn't make you right, and it doesn't make the other person wrong, and it doesn't make the other person change their ways. But if you can actually, I have seen more of an impact from somebody just being the space for that by being present in the moment and being in their power and realizing their authentic beingness underneath, you know, at their core, the beingness that they are. If they're in that space and they're just like listening out of compassion and letting it move right through them, like I was finally able to do with that, that's when you make a change. That's when people can feel it and they can actually shift. Your energy, your loving, compassionate energy is what can make a difference and what can change people. So if you want to make a difference in people who are wrongdoing, want to make a difference for the bad guys, stay in a positive vibration. Stay anchored in this moment and don't let anything rock your boat. No matter what you're around, no matter who you're listening to, no matter what, protect your energy field wherever you are, whatever you're watching, whatever you're exposed to, whatever your circumstance, whether you got a job right now or not, whether you're in an uncertain place or not, provide yourself a safe haven by forgiving, by letting go, by watching funny stuff, by watching empowering stuff. I put references in my Instagram to give you guys some things you can look at that are more positive and that are more empowering. So you guys can always look there too. But okay, you guys have a beautiful day. And like I said, I hope this helps. If you need my help, you got me. Just go to amysatori.com/services and or you can call my radio show on Mondays for free underneath this video. And I'll be happy to help you. Just ask 1 or 2 questions so that everybody's got time to call. Otherwise, like you guys, I've heard you get pretty frustrated when you call and it's just constant busy signal. But don't give up for that half hour. Keep calling back because the minute I hang up with somebody, we're going to take the next call. So, okay, guys. Hope you're doing well, keeping your vibe high, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Hey, if you like my videos, please share, subscribe, and set your bell notifications on so you'll know the moment they come out. Also, don't forget that you can go to my website and order a personal reading at amysatori.com/services. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.